Ladies and gentlemen, the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Wednesday. Damian Nelson here alongside David Hero. And David, some sad news. Another sad day in professional wrestling. Just yesterday, found out the news that a legend has passed on. His name is, well, as you all well know him, Paul Bearer. William Moody, his real name, born April 10, 1954, leaving this earth just yesterday for reasons that are unknown at this time, but that's not as important as the great career and legacy that he leaves behind.
You know, Paul Bearer, Percival Pringle III, legendary manager. I mean, and most people just know of him as managing Kane and The Undertaker and being a part of the Mankind feud with Uncle Paul. But it goes way back further than that. I mean, managed guys like Vader and Rick Rude and Eric Embry and was a part of the Freebirds, you know, the rich Texas wrestling with the Von Erichs and the Gulf Coast and whatever else. Paul Bearer has been around. He has seen it all, done it all, been a part of it all. And talk about a guy that is just so respected and so well revered by all of his peers. This one hurts because, you know, it wasn't that he was out partying, he wasn't drinking or pills, whatever else it was. Paul Bearer was the kind of guy that when he was off the road, he was home taking care of his family. You know, he was taking care of his ill parents. You know, he has kids. His wife passed a few years ago. It hasn't been easy going for Paul Bearer. And, you know, eventually it all finally caught up with him. And we lost a legend last night.
And, you know, you talk about so much more that he has done in professional wrestling. He actually got his start as a teenager doing some things with wrestling and whatnot. He wrestled actually during his days in the military, coming back over, as you said, in world class, managing so many great stars. And really that was when I first got exposure to Percy Pringle, you know, back in the world class championship wrestling, Saturday mornings on Channel 18 here in Milwaukee, and watching him and the Gary Harts and the
Skander Akbars
of the world, and at a time when wrestling managers really mattered, and such a different character. Now, one thing a lot of people don't know about Moody, about Paul Bearer, is that he was actually truly, he's a certified mortician.
Yes,
Paul Bearer. Rather.
Yes, a mortician.
Yeah. Which is what led to the character of Paul Bearer.
And you know what? He did it so well, so creative, that screeching, piercing voice that you would hear just come out.
Oh,
you know, and if Paul Bearer wasn't with The Undertaker, would The Undertaker have evolved into the biggest star that he's become? Because Paul Bearer brought so much more to that character than just him being the dead man.
You think of the great moments between The Undertaker and Paul Bearer. Let's go back to 1996. It might have been SummerSlam, I think. Undertaker was in a matchup, Gund Arena, Cleveland, Ohio. Paul Bearer standing before The Undertaker, who's trying to reach for the power of the urn. Bearer turns, takes the urn, clocks The Undertaker over the head with it. Heinous act at the time. You look at 1994, go back a couple of years earlier. Undertaker versus Undertaker, Chicago's United Center, which strangely enough, we just talked about, I believe last week on Hot Tag. And you know, the big urn with the big spotlight for the real Undertaker, the one, the only Undertaker, when he came back to avenge the false Undertaker that DiBiase had brought out. And then you go to such great times as Paul Bearer just being there for The Undertaker and having the power of the urn. The two played so perfectly off of each other. You know, Undertaker still does that to this day. You know, the kneel with the one hand up, he's reaching for the power of the urn that's not there.
And
now,
you know there will be a tribute by The Undertaker, maybe at WrestleMania, when he defeats CM Punk.
Paul Bearer would come and go many a time once he finally did make it to WWE. He did so in 1991, February to be exact. Remember, The Undertaker first came in under the tutelage of Brother Love. Which was a brief stint, and it would be later that year in 1991, I believe it was, where it was that Tuesday in Texas after the Survivor Series controversy and the big Tuesday surprise pay-per-view where The Undertaker had defeated Hulk Hogan, and then Hulk Hogan defeated The Undertaker again. But what is most known is Paul Bearer's involvement with The Undertaker and even his brother Kane, 1997, bringing out Kane to get at The Undertaker. Such great times for a man who literally spent the time everywhere but WCW, because actually in TNA for a time in 2003. Just such great memories attached to a career in WWE, a recent career, and a career in the days of old of professional wrestling. And one thing, if you look at all the feedback that has been spread over the life and times of Paul Bearer, nobody had anything bad to say about him. And David Hero, you, as a matter of fact, saw him just a few days ago in Chicago.
Yeah, it was actually after the Tales from the Ring event. I was down in Joliet, Illinois with Jerry the King Lawler at a Pro Wrestling Blitz show, and Paul Bearer was there. You know, I chatted with Paul for a little bit, and he didn't look the best, but still, Paul being Paul, funny, haha, and creative and witty and whatnot. And, you know, he just said he was tired and just wasn't feeling well. And I kind of left that night wondering, you know, how, because he hasn't been well for quite a while.
Right.
And, you know, you just got to figure it's only a matter of time. I didn't think it'd be this soon. But, you know, Paul Bearer, one of the most knowledgeable men in wrestling. And him and I even talked about him being a part of a Tales from the Ring down the road because of all the stories he could tell.
Yeah.
I mean, the Freebirds, Ravishing Rick Rude, The Undertaker, Kane, the Attitude Era, the Click, all that, he was a part of it.
There.
And going to be greatly missed. It's a huge void, even though he hasn't been on wrestling in a couple years.
Well, just last year.
Used properly,
He
though.
was with WWE, yeah.
But, you know, he's definitely knowledgeable. I know Ricardo Rodriguez mentioned him, that he was, you know, he was helping him improve on his managerial skills. There aren't many of those managers left.
No.
If you think about it, yeah, we still have Jimmy Hart, but Paul Bearer is gone. Captain Lou Albano is gone. Classy Freddie Blassie is gone. Bobby the Brain Heenan can't manage anymore. There aren't many of those greats left. Who's going to be the next one that's going to step up and, you know,
At the same time, you do have some greats still around. Paul Heyman, absolutely tremendous at what he does. Jim Cornette, absolutely tremendous at what he does. Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, still kicking as well. And you know, it's
but
the
let's
memories.
face it, Jim Cornette's will not wind up on Raw.
Right.
He's not going to show up on Thursday Impact.
Yeah, true. Very good point. But the memories that were left in our heads, in our souls, in our minds by Paul Bearer can never be replaced. And David, you touched on a tremendous point about the association with The Undertaker. We talked about the Canes and, you know, Randy Orton locking him in a freezer, all this other stuff. But, you know, I don't think you can argue that The Undertaker would not have ascended to the stardom that he did without the association with Paul Bearer.
Agreed.
It could have been the perfect story.
Absolutely. I mean, as talented as Undertaker is, as much as he got that character over, if he doesn't have the knowledge behind him of Paul Bearer helping him pick and choose certain spots, we might not be talking about 21-0.
Or even the presentation to us as fans, 20-1 it will be, to us as fans, that Undertaker, remember, was a man of very few words in the early times, if any words. Paul Bearer filled in all those blanks. He got The Undertaker over.
Great promos, great storyteller. Paul Bearer, top notch.
Of course, our thoughts, our prayers, and condolences go out to the family, the friends, and the fans of Paul Bearer, Percival Pringle III, and the man who was William Moody. A sad day in professional wrestling, and it's not ever fun to talk about those who pass on in this business, but unfortunately it is something that happens, and it's all about the celebration of their life. And as you said, David Hero, we're going to see, of course, a lot of tributes, Impact Wrestling even chiming in, everyone in the business chiming in over this loss that was that of the 58-year-old Paul Bearer, unexpectedly, to be honest with you, and we'll see what all of that entails over the course of the next few weeks. So, rest in peace, I guess. It's a fitting tribute to Paul Bearer.
For 15 years, PWR has set the bar on pro wrestling reporting, revolutionizing the field with innovation and a clear commitment to you, the fans. In celebration of our 15-year anniversary, we're doing it again. PWR is honored to welcome a new member to the PrimeTime broadcast team who will guide us on the road to WrestleMania. Please join us in welcoming former WCW, TNA, and WWE champion, Big Sexy Kevin Nash, to the Pro Wrestling Report broadcast team. Nash will be joining PWR hosts Damian Nelson and David Hero in studio starting Saturday, March 16, and will appear every week leading up to WrestleMania 29. PWR and Kevin Nash. It simply does not get any better. The biggest party during WrestleMania weekend is coming to Manhattan. PWR presents Shenanigans in the Concrete Jungle, hosted by Big Sexy Kevin Nash on Saturday, April 6th. But Kevin won't be alone. The party starts right after the WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony, just steps away from Madison Square Garden. VIP tickets include free drinks and more, and are only available in limited quantities. Get your tickets now for this tremendous Hall of Fame after party right across the street from Madison Square Garden. It will be epic.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Wednesday. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero. Big announcement, David. Next week.
Huge announcement.
This Saturday night, rather, right here on this very program, we're going to be doing Be the Booker for Lockdown in just a moment, where we will have a star from Impact Wrestling joining us this Saturday night. Christopher Daniels will be our guest.
A fallen angel. I hear he's a bad influence.
You know what? Maybe that explains how you turned out the way you did. I know you guys are friends. You go way back.
We're pals.
But Christopher Daniels joins us as we are on the road to Lockdown. Big event from TNA Wrestling this Sunday. And then, of course, TNA coming to the Chicago area for their first of many live impacts on the road. That happens this Thursday. Christopher Daniels, Saturday on PWR Primetime. Coming off the heels of Mean Gene Okerlund last week. Next week, March 16th. 10-year anniversary, 15-year anniversary of the Pro Wrestling Report. I'm all excited. Big, sexy Kevin Nash in this very studio at this very table.
Well, you better get this table cleaned up.
4 weeks, Nash will be joining us.
4 weeks of Nash?
4 episodes.
Nash is cash, you know.
But, however, as we talk about announcements, ladies and gentlemen, we're also pleased to announce yet another location where you can watch the online versions of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime on TV on Wednesdays and Sundays. We've partnered with WrestlingNewsSource.com to bring you all the latest news from the world of pro wrestling right here on Primetime. We've been long about the opinions, yours especially, and perspectives, mine which are always right. Remember, Punk beats Undertaker at WrestleMania. Mark it, count it.
You don't want the op to come back, do you?
But we stay away from traditional wrestling news reporting by our choice. But we understand that you as viewers want all the latest news as well. So why not bring it to you? So we're constantly reviewing wrestling news websites and only recommend,
it's been a while.
Only recommend those that show a clear respect for the business and do not resort to sensationalism or rampant speculation.
I have partners also. And let's not forget that today, Wednesday, is the birthday of my very good, close, personal, dear, longtime friend, the captain of Team Super Friends, Mr. Anderson.
You're an asshole.
Anderson. Hey,
I was in the middle of something very important here.
Right, but
partnership announcement.
It's appropriate. It's a partnership. Ken Anderson, happy birthday, Ken. Wish you the best. Come on, take it. Go. It's been a while since we've done that.
Andy, what I'd like to, there's some construction going on here over the course of the next week as we refresh our look for the 15-year anniversary here and make room for Kevin Nash.
So exhausting.
Mark these words, all right? If that microphone gimmick in the sky is still there and falls again upon his hand, you're fired. It's just that simple. I'm not talking. You know what? I've been too nice. That's my problem.
Really?
You know what? I got people out here. Hey, you're an idiot. CM Punk can't beat The Undertaker. No, you're the idiot. CM Punk will beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
You're not an idiot. You're not. You're just misinformed.
I'm not misinformed. No one's informed me of a dang thing. My dozens of years and my mental acumen in this business tells me and shows me that CM Punk will defeat The Undertaker at WrestleMania 21.
They have creams for acumen.
As we talk about, we partner with sites that do it right. WrestlingNewsSource.com, along with our longtime partner, Gerwick.net, are two of those sites. Ben Kieran over at WNS and Steve Gerwick understand that this business is not about competition, but about bringing you the best content to you, the fan. I'm sorry, it's Wednesday, actually. I'm so excited for Saturday because Christopher Daniels is joining us, and we're talking about Lockdown. David Hero is that guy.
Slow down. We got a few more days to go before that happens.
Bro, when you have as much coffee and 5-hour energies and Monsters and Red Bulls as I do, you don't slow down.
Okay.
How do you think the ship keeps sailing?
Gold card?
It's black, actually.
Of course.
Be the booker for TNA Lockdown this Sunday night on pay-per-view. We're going to talk about most of the matches here, but the main event is reserved for Saturday on Primetime.
You mean this match down here?
For the World Championship. Let's first talk about a matchup that has been brewing for the last several weeks. It is sweater versus sweater, ladies and gentlemen. Robbie E. One-on-one with big Rob Terry.
Robbie E. finally is going to get me some more points. Robbie
some
E.
more? You mean 5?
Versus Robbie T. Robbie Terry. Robbie E. You got to figure one of the Robs is going to win. It's going to be entertaining. Rob Terry, gigantic, monster of a man. Robbie E, very talented in-ring performer. But you got to figure Robbie E has got to get the victory and go forward somehow, screwing over Rob Terry to get the quick victory.
Size doesn't matter in this match.
It matters a ton, and that's why I'm nervous, because Robbie could afford to lose. You know what? I got to go with Rob
Oh,
Terry.
ladies and gentlemen,
you know why?
Florida now goes to Rob Terry.
And here's why. Because Robbie E can bounce back from a loss better than Rob Terry can.
Three-way tag team matchup. The championship belts are on the line. The champions, Bobby Roode and Austin Aries. By the way, Austin Aries, a member of the Nelson family, taking on the teams of Bad Influence, Daniels and Kaz, and Chavo and Hernandez.
Team. Yeah, Chavo and Hernandez, Bad Influence, Roode and Aries. It's kind of like Batman and Superman. You got
Two
Super
former world
Friends
champions.
and Nelson family there. You got to. Who's the dark horse in this match?
I'm sorry?
Who's the dark horse? Who is the underdog?
There are no horses in this match.
Who do you think is the one that has the least chance of winning?
It's got to be Roode and Aries?
You think they're going to lose?
I didn't say that. That wasn't your question.
I said, who has the least chance of winning?
It's difficult. These teams are pretty much equally balanced,
Well, Roode and Aries is the better team. Star power-wise, individual-wise. Bad Influence is extremely talented. Hernandez is the weak link on this tag team.
What?
I think
Supermax?
I think Chavo.
Oh,
you know,
Swagger.
What? Swagger? Chavo
Or would
doesn't
you
have
rather
swagger.
be called Zeb?
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I think this match is going to be great.
Give me water, Andy.
It has the potential to steal the show. But I got to believe Roode and Aries. Nah, I'm going to go with Bad Influence. And that will then cause the rift between Roode and Aries, so those two guys can go into a program together.
Would you be interested in switching sides at all, flip-flopping?
I'm struggling on this pay-per-view.
Clearly you are. It's going to be a good show, though. Alamo Dome, San Antonio, Texas.
And here's why I'm struggling so much, because everything that happens here is going to be a big focal point on Thursday in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So this is almost like Impact, and Chicago is going to be their pay-per-view, because more people are going to be tuning in to watch Chicago than they will be ordering this pay-per-view.
Not since Genesis, though. Not since January have we had the option to see TNA on pay-per-view.
I understand that, but I honestly believe more people are going to tune in to watch Impact on Thursday than they will to watch the pay-per-view on Sunday. So what they do here is going to dictate how well or how strong of a show Thursday is going to be.
Speaking of strong, a marquee matchup, ladies and gentlemen. It will happen within the confines of a steel cage.
Did
Kurt
you
Angle.
just say a marquee matchup?
Kurt Angle's a former champion in both WWE and TNA.
He is a stud. He is amazing. He's a cyborg.
One-on-one with Wes Briscoe.
That is not the droid I'm looking for. So move along.
The Knockouts Championship on the line. Gail Kim versus Velvet Holler, Velvet Sky.
You know, Velvet Sky, since she's been back, she's gone through some transformations. She's had different looks, but she's been non-existent. She's there, but not there. I think a big victory over Gail Kim puts her back on the top of the Knockouts division.
If you only picked one face so far, Lethal Lockdown. There's a roof.
There is a roof.
There's tools hanging from the said roof. It's in the cage. It's in the Alamo Dome, San Antonio, Texas. Team Sting versus the Aces and Eights. And then we have a big reveal coming soon for the Aces and Eights.
And that's
if not
why,
tomorrow night on
and once
Impact.
again, I'm booking this pay-per-view because of Chicago. Aces and Eights. I honestly believe there's some shenanigans inside Team Sting that's going to cost Team Sting the victory in the Lethal Lockdown match.
A turn?
Somebody.
Really?
Absolutely.
I still hope, I still wish, I still want it to be Jeff Jarrett.
Well, he's not going to be on Team Sting.
He's not going to be on Team Sting, but he could easily be the leader of the Aces and Eights. If I still care, I want it to be Sting. Okay. I'm sorry,
Jeff Jarrett.
Well, that's Be the Booker Part 1, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, we got the main event
We defer the main event to Saturday's show, Saturday Big Show.
I got to wait? You hustled me in here to do this, and now we have to wait?
As Christopher Daniels, one half of Bad Influence. Actually, I think that's a three-man tag team, because you should be on that team.
You know what?
You just walk down to the ring with your spoon, and maybe I can follow you with a mop, cleaning up after you.
You clean up my mess? So you're the chick in this deal? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm sorry?
Oh,
you're implying what?
That you clean up a lot of messes.
Uh-huh. Christopher Daniels will be our guest, ladies and gentlemen. That this Saturday on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. And let's go over what doesn't happen here so far on the board anyways. Rob Terry defeats Robbie E. if David Hero had the pencil. Bad Influence wins the tag team championship belts from the three-way tag team matchup. Kurt Angle defeats Wes Briscoe in a cage. Velvet Sky defeats Gail Kim. And the Aces and Eights, due to some shenanigans, wins in that lethal lockdown matchup. For that one, ladies and gentlemen, this is Damian Nelson saying we'll see you Saturday night on Primetime Saturday night, where our guest will be none other than Christopher Daniels. Farewell, everyone.